Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.
Marks on exactly where.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that we're going to have a powerful storm. Yeah. The question still is exactly the track of that storm, and that's going to have impacts. Will that be offshore? Will that be on the coast? Will that be a little bit farther inland? Those are all of the details that we still have to work out, and we still have time to go. Now, you might remember yesterday on Storm Center, we were telling you about the benchmark, and hopefully you tuned in and learned about that. But if you didn't, we'll do a quick review for you. It's generally an area that we look at 40 degrees north and 70 degrees west, where if a low pressure storm system tracks right over it, that's basically the sweet spot that tends to bring big snows along the I-95 corridor. If it were to go to the left of that or closer to the shore, that tends to bring in more rain along I-95 or a wintry mix. If it goes to the east of that, it still has all that cold air in place, but the heavy snow will be a little farther offshore. We'll still get some snow, but more into the coastal areas. So let's compare the latest models to that benchmark today and compared to yesterday. And if you remember yesterday, the GFS had a big shift back off towards the east. So let's see what the GFS is doing today. And we've got the isobars on here, the lines of equal pressure, and you want to find the one that makes the smallest little circle in the middle. That's where your area of low pressure is. So you can see by noon on Saturday, it's very, very close to that benchmark, and that brings in a lot of heavy snow, say from New York City on up through Boston and into southern parts of Maine. Now, what about the Euro? The Euro today is still kind of more of a robust storm. It certainly brings in a lot of wind impacts, but it brings it maybe just a little bit closer to the coastline. This could bring some more snow into parts of the mid-Atlantic as opposed to just a New England storm. So we've had a lot of snow in some of these areas in the interior parts of the Northeast. We haven't had a lot along the I-95 corridor so far this season. We've had some nickel and dime storms here and there, but places like New York City and Philadelphia in particular really have yet to have a huge one. So Boston, we've got 12.7 inches of snow. A lot of that came earlier this month when we had more than 11.5 inches. We've still got a deficit, about 8 inches here. So are we going to make up for that? Right now, I'm really eyeing more of a New England storm. That said, that's where our greatest confidence is right now with the storm, Tevin. We still have more questions as to what kind of snow you're going to get into the mid-Atlantic. The front will bring you some snow.
Yes.
But are you going to get the big snows like the Northeast is? I'm not so sure just yet.
Sure.
Spring doesn't mean we're not going to still have snow in some parts of the country. In fact, what you're looking at behind me is a very snowy Denver, Colorado. And Denver tends to have its biggest snows in the spring months in March and into April. But today, had some nice snow into Denver, and it's looking a lot whiter than it did this time yesterday. So let's take a look at the live conditions there right now, and you can see the snow continuing to come down. It's relatively light and starting to taper off. Our winter weather advisory being allowed to expire here in Denver, but not before putting down a good 5 inches of snowfall. So it did cause some issues on the morning commute. We've had more problems on Interstate 70 than anywhere else, but the area of low pressure in the storm itself is going to be working itself southward here with time. So while we've got a few advisories here and still winter storm warnings ongoing into western parts of Kansas, that's where the heaviest abandoning of snow has been. Going forward, this is going to drop down and bring snows into New Mexico as well as into the panhandle of Texas as we head into tomorrow and perhaps lingering into your Thursday. This shows you how much snow we've had in the last 2 days, and there you can see some of that pink indicating where we've had the heaviest amounts of snowfall so far, and all of those little snowflakes indicating reports from certified spotters or from the National Weather Service of how much snow has accumulated. And I mentioned DIA coming in with 5 inches of snow. That happened only over a 6-hour period of time, so that's nearly an inch an hour through the duration there. And check out Goodland. They had about 4.5 inches inches, but there are a few spots in here where I'm now starting to see some 20-plus inch snowfall totals. So this is helping to allow some of that colder air to begin to move in. This upslope is happening because of that Arctic high up towards the north and our low dipping down with the jet stream off towards the west. So that's going to bring all the snow southward into the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma with time. Santa Fe should be getting some good snow, in a place like Las Vegas, New Mexico, looking for maybe 4 to 6 inches of snowfall for the duration of this event. Tevin?
Jackie, some of that snow seeking